We'll do the Aussie salute. This is Kevin, KJ's Moto. This is my TL1000, 2002. Yes, you can put the country miles on them. A little bit uncomfortable, but there's plenty of room, and they get along okay too. Now the first thing that you notice with the TLR is that the gearing is quite tall, and I find that I just ride around a lot in 5th gear, because 6th gear is too high. There you go, I'm into top gear now. So when the revs are in, the RPM is in the 4,000 to 5,000 band, it's really smooth. You get a bit of a rumble on the foot pegs, but the hand says nothing at all. And when you've got a 4-cylinder bike, you know, you always get that buzziness in that 4,000 to 5,000 RPM range. But the TLR, you know, it's indicating 120, but don't believe that. But it's sitting around 4,000 to 5,000 RPM, and it's smooth. Except you get a bit of a rumble with the petrol tank and the foot pegs, but it's not much. But what does happen is that when you start getting up to 7,000 RPM, that's when it really does vibrate. And then surprisingly, around 8.5 or 8 to 9, it smooths out again. It smooths out, and we're on a long weekend away, and we could run it at that RPM, 8 to 9,000 RPM in top gear, and it was very smooth, and you could just do it for miles. It was surprising. So it's certainly got some speed. Not necessarily rapid acceleration though. You'd really have to look at gearing it down to get some decent acceleration. So, you know, if you were doing track days, you would gear it down. If you're doing city work all the time, never going out in the country, I would gear it down as well. Because I just find I just got to use fifth gear a lot, and when in town, you know, it's 3rd and 4th gear. I don't like to lug it down. I like to keep the RPM up a little bit. I don't let it chug down and below 2,000, you know, 2,000, 3,000. I don't like that. Always like to have the revs up some, you know, preferably around the 4,000 mark. Otherwise it doesn't feel too good. The fueling is great though. It pulls from, you know, low RPM. It doesn't surge. It holds the speed, whatever RPM you want to have it at. It just sits there. Very controllable on the fueling. No problems at all. Steering now with the lowered forks, or the raised up through the triple clamp. Now the bike turns into corners, and I wouldn't do it before on the standard setting of 6mm. But with the forks raised up to 12mm, it turns in easily. Easy as, really good. Front forks are good. I got a nice rider sag of 38mm, which is 30% of the travel, which the suspension people told me to set it at for 120mm travel. To use 30% for your rider sag, and I've got 38, and they've still got a little bit more preload to go, so it's not maxed out. So it's good. Rear suspension, I've got rider sag in it, and it's okay, but it just doesn't absorb the shocks too well. It really gives you a thump in the seat, but it's just harsh ride. So there's no plushness in the rear suspension. That's its problem. But the way it handles now, it's good. Foot pegs are high because it's originally a race bike. So yes, the foot pegs are high. And the reach to the handlebars is a fair bit. typical Suzuki actually. It feels just like a Suzuki, if you know what I mean. Some of the bikes, like I don't know, the Kawasaki, you feel like you're sitting on top of the steering head, but this is not. You're stretched out a fair bit. The front brakes with the standard calipers, I wanted to keep the standard calipers just for the exercise of keeping the bike the way it sort of was from the factory, but I've upgraded the brake pads, I've upgraded the discs, I've upgraded the front forks, fork springs, valving, but it still looks pretty same. I've put on a 19mm Nissan radial on the up the top to replace the 5.8 bore standard one. I've got much more braking power now with the standard calipers down the bottom, so to get some decent power out of the brakes, change the master cylinder. Now I've got a cheap Nissan 19mm radial on it that comes with a GSXR standard, so it's got a bit of sort of dead lever travel, which I don't like. I wish it was a little bit more immediate rather than travel a lot. We got some aftermarket LED indicators. They have a double headlight, high and low beam. You're not just riding around on low beam with one, you've got two low beams. This is the brake lever. Now this is the bit that annoys the hell out of me. It's just too much travel before it actually starts to work, just like a free play. It's okay, but I don't like it much. The Zeta brake lever is beautifully made, and it's got a different shape through here, and it's less meat on the pivot area, so it clears more on the instrument, so you have no trouble with the 19mm radial, because it's going 90 degrees from the bar. It comes out further than standard, but it's got a nice narrow section there on this Zeta, and it clears well. It's beautiful, and it folds up as well. Beautiful thing. And standard shock on the back assembly. It's just harsh. Double opposing pistons on the back, just like the Hayabusa Gen 1s. Same rotor, same wheel, same caliper on the front, same size as the Gen 1, and the same 6-pot braided lines. Beautiful forks there, not leaking. Got to be happy about that. Yeah, and the Yoshi bolt-on, you know, really slip on their bolt-ons, but I've got another exhaust system for it as well, a full M4 system that needs refurbishing. The big thing is do you like V-twins, or do you like multi-cylinders of others, you know, a triple, 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder even? I think it really gets down to what you like in the engine specification. V4s, inline 4s. I think Suzuki's got enough knowledge and enough parts to make a sports version of the 1050 engine, because this is 996. The 1050 engine is what, it's a 1035 or something. But with the new Ducati V2, and then you've got the new KTM, the Yamaha R9, all these new generation sport bikes they're calling them. Well, this is a 1999 superbike built for the aim of racing. So Suzuki's got it, could do it, but I suppose there's just no sales in it. If you were going to go for a sports bike today, you could go you know, the BMW 1000RR, or the Ducatis or the KTMs, because they've got bigger engines too, you know. We're talking 1000 cc's, the GSXR 1000, but the European stuff, they're bigger. That was over 1300 cc's for the KTM V-twin. It's got the same, it's fractionally bigger than a Hayabusa engine, and it's got the, you know, the same power. Torque figures are higher than the 1340 Hayabusa engine, but you've got a lot less weight, and that makes a big difference. So I think it just gets down to you know, you can't compare this to the bigger bikes, so it's the smaller ones like that new Ducati V2 or an R9 or something like that. Suzuki could do something else besides actually make a modern version of the TLR. They could make a sort of like a naked version for people who like the V-twin. So, you know, the 1050, not the DE, the other one with the 19-inch aluminium alloy wheel one. If they made a more of a, you know, like the Ducati multi-strata type, where you got 17-inch wheels front and rear, but in a sort of like a naked V-twin, I think that'd be great fun around the cities. The mileage between towns is huge, and you know, without a proper screen of some description, it becomes hard work. Like the fuel tank capacity, this is like the fuel tank capacity is 17 litres for the TLR, and that's my minimum that I would have for a bike here in Australia. The distance between fuel stops, you're forever looking for a petrol station if you've got a 15 litre tank or less. So if you got 17, 19, or the Hayabusa runs around what, 21 litre or 20 litre, that makes a huge difference as well. So this is borderline at 17 litre. The long weekend away, this was okay. Could do the, you know, over 200 kilometres, but you know, the other guys could do up to 300. And the new 800 parallel twin Suzuki, that is a strong performing engine. That's quite impressive. There was one of those on the ride, and it gets us along really nice. And they got their other derivatives of that, you know, like a retro look and naked and a modern naked and all those sort of things, and a sport bike version, all using the same engine platform. The 1050 could have one more, you know, like a multi-strata look. But Suzuki's too conservative these days. They're just trying to survive. Another wave. This is November now. It's coming on to summers next month, and the bushflies are out in a big way. On the TLR, it's getting there. It's a lot better now. It's a good thing, but we just got to not spend too much crazy money on it. Catch us in the next one. Bye.